Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday, June 3rd, and I'm starting to get crazy tomato production on all of my tomato plants, and I want to start doing some taste testing because right now I'm starting to get some good quality tomatoes that are coming in before the bugs are really getting to them. And I just have some fantastic varieties that I just want to show you. And this is a variety right here. This is a dwarf tomato, and it is called Fred's Tie-Dye. And you can see a little bit of insect damage, but you can see just the huge tomatoes that are on this little tiny dwarf plant. Here's another perfect one right here. This is a Fred's Tie-Dye, and they're really nice and ripe. They are a beautiful variegated dwarf. That must be something like an 8-ounce tomato. Really nice looking. And this plant is just loaded with them, and I want to get them before the bugs do. And then over here I have another dwarf tomato called Dwarf Emerald Giant. And this is also another beautiful tomato. I have two that are right here, and this is a green tomato. Believe it or not, these are just about ripe. And I ate one of these last night, and they are just mind-blowing if you like yourself an acidic tomato. They have so much bite to them, it's ridiculous. And then over here I have my Rosella Purple tomato plant, and it is just loaded with fruit. I have shown you a taste test on this tomato in the past, and it's one that I've been raving about for years. So I want to go ahead and reach over the fence and pick one of these, because this is one of those rare times where I think I can actually do a group tasting of a number of dwarf tomatoes. And then you can see how beautiful and nice the Rosella Purple tomatoes are. And I know Dale is hungry. He's literally looking right at me. He is ready to taste test some tomatoes. So I have a big haul of tomatoes right here that I really want to try. This right here is my largest Fred's Tie-Dye that you watched me pick. And it has a little bit of a bad spot on it with a couple of bugs in it, so I'm going to cut that out. Then I have this beautiful Dwarf Emerald Giant, which is pretty ripe, and that is just a fantastic tomato. And this is one of my Rosella Purples that you've seen me taste test before. It's a really nice size one. And then I will be comparing that to a Cherokee Purple, because Cherokee Purple is a very good tasting heirloom, and it has a big split in it, so I have to eat this before it goes bad. And the garden's really starting to produce. I have cucumbers, I have peppers, oregano, basil, everything's looking great. And just to show you what we're looking like in terms of size and weight, this is the Fred's Tie-Dye. That's at 10.7 ounces, and that is just a monster. They're not usually that big. Usually they're in the 5 to 8 ounce range, but you can see that dwarf tomatoes can put out beefsteak size fruit. This is the Dwarf Emerald Giant, and this is typically a larger tomato. That's at 8.15 ounces, but I've seen this get close to a pound. So from half a pound to a pound is what you can expect from that tomato. And here is the Rosella Purple. I haven't been vibrating all my flowers with the toothbrush as of late, so the size has increased and the fruit set has decreased some. So this is 7.4 ounces. And then this is the Cherokee Purple, which is an heirloom indeterminate. And believe it or not, that's the smallest one at 6.6 ounces. But a Cherokee Purple can get pretty large. They can get close to a pound. However, I find this to be more of a mid-sized tomato in my experience. Now let's show you what all of these tomatoes look like. And we will start with the Cherokee Purple. That'll be our control since it's an heirloom indeterminate. And the Cherokee Purple is one of the meatier tomatoes that you'll get. They're very, very nice looking, as you can clearly see. Mostly meat, not a lot of seed or gel. And the Rosella Purple, I've been telling everybody for 3 years now that the Rosella Purple is a dead ringer for Cherokee Purple. That you could put them side by side and trick a lot of people. And you can see that the Rosella Purple it's not quite as meaty as the Cherokee Purple, but it's almost there. If the Cherokee Purple is 90% meat, this is probably in the 80s. Then we have the Dwarf Emerald Giant, which is just a stellar, outstanding tomato. And if you want to talk about meaty, let's talk Dwarf Emerald Giant. Actually, it looks like I have a little bit of a bad spot in here, unfortunately. The one I harvested yesterday was just perfect. So we'll have to eat around that bad spot. But this is just a stellar, fantastic tomato. And then last but not least, the Fred's tie-dye, which is by far the largest. And this is after I took that bad spot out of it. And this is so much tomato it won't even fit on the cutting board. And this is just an absolutely gorgeous picture right here. This is what summer is all about. This is all of the flavors of summer. And I just want to start with the Cherokee Purple to use as my control. Cherokee Purple is such a delicious, rich tasting tomato. If you don't like acidic tomatoes, Cherokee Purple is your go-to. It is smooth and mild and mellow and has very little acid content. It's much sweeter than most red tomatoes, so if you have a problem with acid, if you get cankers, or if it's rough on your stomach, please give Cherokee Purple a try. Then we'll go with Rosella Purple, which is very similar to Cherokee Purple in looks and taste. And I think this Rosella Purple was a little bit riper, because that was like the Cherokee Purple but twice as good. That was just a flavor explosion right there. It was like the Cherokee Purple but even sweeter, and it just really popped. Side by side, this Rosella Purple kicked the Cherokee Purple's butt, but I think the Cherokee Purple just wasn't quite perfectly right. But they're side by side, they're direct contenders with each other. That is so good. Now for the Dwarf Emerald Giant. This is a completely different experience. And after eating these two, this is like getting punched in the face. This tomato almost burns with acid. This is like somebody put lemon juice on the tomato. It is so strong and it has so much bite to it. If you like an acidic tomato, you have to try the Dwarf Emerald Giant. It is just absolutely fantastic. If you have issues with cankers or stomach ulcers, let me tell you, this is not the tomato for you. But if you like something with punch, it is a strong, flavorful tomato. And now for the Fred's tie-dye. And in my experience, this is one of the most acidic tomatoes I've ever grown. This tomato has bite to it. It is just as acidic as the Dwarf Emerald Giant, but it has a very tough skin to it. It almost has a crunchy skin. So whereas the Dwarf Emerald Giant has a very paper-thin skin, you almost don't even know it's there, this skin is actually chewy. It crunches almost like apple skin. So these three have almost imperceptible skin, whereas the Fred's tie-dye is almost crunchy. But this has a crazy acid punch to it. It is like getting punched in the face with acid. It's almost lemony in its flavor. Very good tomato. Alright, now I want an opinion from the official taste tester, and what I've done is I've broken these all up into two separate tastings, almost like a sushi plate. So tomatoes are good for dogs, but in limited quantity. They can't digest that much vegetation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a taste of each, and then we'll see which one is his absolute favorite. So Dale, the first thing we want to do is we want to start with the Cherokee Purple. And he is drooling everywhere. Rosella Purple. This is the Dwarf Emerald Giant. And this is the Fred's tie-dye. There's so much drool. Okay, which one was your favorite? Let's see which one you prefer. Now these are in the same order that I gave them to you in, from left to right. Wait, stay, wait, no, wait. Okay, go ahead, go. Okay. So I guess the Fred's tie-dye must be his favorite. Wait, no. You know, the funny thing about being a dog eating tomatoes is they're apparently really hard for them to eat. Oh, he went for the Fred's tie-dye first, so that must be his favorite. He must be an acid fan. And then the Dwarf Emerald Giant, the second most acidic one. So yeah, I guess Dale likes acidic tomatoes. And then he actually went for the Cherokee Purple last. So you know what? His palate is pretty similar to mine. He really is my dog. So it's honestly pretty hard for me to tell you which one of these tomatoes are the best because they were so, they're so individual. They all taste so differently. Out of these four, I think the Rosella Purple probably tasted the best, but I think it was just the most ripe at this given time. I've had Rosella Purple next to Cherokee Purple side by side, and I've preferred the Cherokee at times, so it really just depends when you get those tomatoes and whether or not they're in their peak ripeness. But at the same time, the Dwarf Emerald Giant is consistently one of the best tasting tomatoes I've ever had if you're a fan of acidic tomatoes. It's a great sandwich tomato because it's so acidic and it gives you that flavor contrast on a sandwich. But if you like something sweeter for a salad that maybe isn't so in your face, the Cherokee Purple and the Rosella Purple are a great choice. And if you really like meaty acidic tomatoes, this Fred's tie-dye will knock your socks off. It is a very acidic tomato with a lot of flavor. But you really can't go wrong with growing all of these tomatoes. Just growing these four alone will give you a tremendous amount of variety and a lot of different flavor profiles in four separate plants. Everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe for future updates and more videos like these. If you're curious about anything I use in my garden, everything that I use is linked in my Amazon storefront in the video description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video.